Hey guys, Schostak here. Hope you are doing well and doing awesome. I got a great question this morning from a friend of mine, and I thought instead of me spending the time of trying to answer it through Messenger, I would answer it through this video, and by doing that, I would be able to help, I think, a lot of people when it comes to a question like this. So I think it's really important to understand that when you're single and you are in a relationship or you are dating or you're beginning to learn about the other person, learn about yourself, often emotions pop up inside of you that are very raw. And what I mean by that is that when you're relating to another person in a loving way, and I'm not saying that you definitely have feelings of love for this person, but when you're trying to relate to this other person in an intimate way, in a caring way, it's going to push buttons of yours that you may or may not be aware of that go on inside you. Okay? So the question that was asked to me by a very smart person was, communication is everything in a relationship, right? So why is it when I communicate how I feel and my thoughts, I'm constantly in the wrong? Should I just bottle everything up? That was the question. Okay? And I thought it was a really good question for several reasons. And I'll explain to you why. Firstly, a person's mind likes to sum things up in quick points, right? So like when you say real estate, location, 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 right? That's it. That's everything that you need to know about real estate. When in reality, that's actually not true. Yes, location really is very, very important when it comes to real estate, but there are many other factors that become involved in making the deal and closing the deal and making sure that things go smoothly in the process of the buyer and the seller. So there are many factors involved in real estate that can bring success to a deal, not just location. Location is an aspect of it. So first, what I want to say about this question is that communication is everything in a relationship, right? No, it's not. Now, that doesn't mean it's not important. It definitely is important, okay? There's no question. But it's also very important to be aware in your mind that one thing is not everything. So let me give you an example of communication right now. And I want you to tell me, if you were in a relationship and the person was communicating the way I'm about to, I'm going to show you two ways of communication. And I want you to tell me, or at least understand after I'm done speaking, I want you to see what the differences are, right? So let's say I am with my partner, and I'm with my boyfriend, with my girlfriend, and I see that they're getting upset about something, and I want them to calm down. So I say to them, listen, you got to be calm. Don't you understand that every single time one of these situations happens, you lose it? So just calm down, relax, please relax. Now I'm communicating. But when I was communicating just now, do you think the person would become more relaxed or more stressed? So my need to see them calm actually makes me less calm in how I talk to them. So communication, even though I was sharing with them how I feel, it may not necessarily be the best thing to go ahead and do it that way. Okay. What if I go ahead and say like this? I see that you're upset, and if it's all right, I'm just going to, let's just breathe. Now, that was kind of weird, right? For someone to be doing a live video and to actually just be silent for a few seconds. But you tell me, by me not communicating and actually being more peaceful, was that more calming to the other person, even though I wasn't communicating? Okay? So there are times that communication can be, even though you're saying a certain point to somebody, it's coming out in a way that they cannot hear it. So sometimes it's better to actually just be silent when you are feeling something that could promote stress. Now, the person who asked this question then asked, so why is it when I communicate how I feel and my thoughts, I'm constantly in the wrong? Should I just bottle everything up, right? I want you to understand that in no way am I saying to bottle up your feelings and not communicate. No, 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 no. That's not good at all, right? Because we know that just like food that goes through the body, you need the healthy nutrients to stay in the body, but those that are unhealthy need to be released. So when you have an emotion or an opinion or a feeling that needs to be shared with somebody else or needs to be heard, of course, to share it in a way and communicate it in a way that is pleasant, that is peaceful and calm, even if you're saying something to the other person that they don't want to hear, that doesn't really matter. Because as long as you're doing it in a way that is expressing yourself and saying how you feel, it's how you feel. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that whatsoever, right? So my recommendations for clients and singles who are in relationships, and I actually had this question come up in a Q&A the other day, when I had, and I see you responding, Rihanna, and I'm gonna address it, but I just want you to hear this, okay? When I was communicating with my clients the other day in a Q&A, one of my clients was telling me that he had to tell somebody news that he knew that the other person wouldn't appreciate, right? That he had to give, and he was feeling bad about communicating that with the other person because he was worried about how they would feel. So often we create stories in our brains around situations by saying, oh, I'm bad if I say it this way, I'm bad if I do this, I'm bad if I do that, when really all you're doing is just saying how you feel, right? So if you're angry with your boyfriend, if you're angry with your girlfriend for something that they have done, right? And you curse them out and you give them the finger or you say something personally about them that's hurtful, they're not going to listen to what you have to say. Of course, they won't. You've now broken down the communication with them because what they're dealing with is the attack on them and not how you feel. So if you communicate your feeling with them and it's something that they don't want to hear, as long as you do it in a way that is kind and acceptable, right? If you say to the person, I feel that the way that you're doing this or saying this is hurtful to me. If they don't like it, that's their problem. And by the way, it tells you a lot about the health of the relationship and how they react to your feelings, right? So if you go ahead and you bring up how you feel, and the person does one of the following things, right? If they listen and they just listen to you and say nothing, that's actually okay, right? Now you might be looking for either them to tell you, well, I agree with you, or I apologize, or I'm sorry, or okay. You might be looking for that. Now that might still come. And you need to determine if that will actually come. If it does come, so let's say you're in an argument, okay, or you're feeling a certain way about the relationship, right? And you tell the person, again, listen, in a way that is not a personal attack or done out of anger. So this is the key thing with communication, right? Because usually when somebody says or does something to us, our feelings rise, we get angry, and then what we want to do is we want to attack, right? Because it's normal. Our ego feels threatened, so then we'll come at them and go, oh yeah, oh, you mother, right? And we start, it's over then, because they can't even listen to what you have to say. And anything that you might have to say, which is probably truthful and meaningful, it gets negated by the cursing, and it gets negated by and then you got to do all the damage control. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to curse. And then, so your point won't be taken as seriously. So assuming you're calm and assuming you're saying how you feel in a way that's acceptable and kind. So for example, you're angry about something and you wait till you're calm and you go up to your boyfriend or your girlfriend or your spouse or your partner or whomever, and you say, I just want to tell you that when you said this, or I feel that this is something that needs to be discussed because I'm upset by this. Okay? Now you put on your detective glasses. Okay? Now you calm down and now you watch. This is where the rubber meets the road. If the person is defensive beyond all belief, okay, and you said it calmly, right? That tells you a lot about the health of the relationship. Now, if the person was defensive once, but all the other times that you express yourself, there's an acceptance and there might be an apology and there might be a change, then that's normal, okay? Because no one's perfect and you're gonna. But if this is a pattern where you see that you express yourself in a calm, healthy way, and the person loses it on you, then you have the determination to make, is this something that I want to be in? Those who are confident and love themselves and who are healthy will say, thank you, bye-bye. Okay? Next. Now, what happens if you go to the other level where there's no response whatsoever? You make the determination. Does this person, in their percentages, they're a wonderful human being and I love being with them, and this is something that they need to work on? Okay. Right? Saying nothing doesn't necessarily tell you whether they are sorry, whether they want to work on it. So you need to figure out if this is something that you want to continue with. And that's a decision that you can make, again, from power. And then you have the response where the person listens and says, I hear you, I accept what you're saying, I love you, I care about you, and I want to, I mean, and that's another way that a person can respond. So I wanted to give you an understanding in your question, and it was a great question, by the way, really great question, because it describes for many people who are single or those who've come out of a breakup or those who are divorced and getting back into the dating world, right? When we hear these buzzwords like communication is everything, or the person has to be my soulmate, or the person has to be, we just want to be careful with terminology as defining it as everything, because it might not necessarily be the case. It's definitely important, but not everything. And the second piece is that you have a decision to make. And no, I would definitely not tell you to bottle up everything, okay? But you have a decision to make now that you have the steps in determining whether or not this is someone you want to continue with. So I hope that this answered your question. And again, phenomenal question. Thank you for asking it. And if you would like to learn more about communication and relationship skills and understanding what is healthy and what isn't healthy, these are concepts that I bring every one of my clients through in the Find the Right One coaching program. And the success we've seen has just been phenomenal. So go ahead and click like and share and message me, and happy New Year, my friend. All the best.